What's up, YouTube? Welcome everybody back to the channel. A lot of people have been asking for a Trackhawk update and what's been going on with the transmission, and we're here at Livermore Motorsports to let you know what's going on. I'm gonna walk over to the Trackhawk right now, and there she is up on the lift. Got the transmission out. So I'll give you guys a quick breakdown of everything that happened from the timeline of when it broke down on me at the Livermore track day that Saturday. So the track day was on Saturday the 18th when it broke down after we put it on the tow truck. So after we put it on the tow truck, I decided to tow it home and not straight here to Livermore Motorsports, because I was thinking if it wasn't something major and I had Livermore take it out, send it to Sipple, and they're like, hey, you know, nothing's wrong with it. I was thinking maybe it could be like a computer issue. That's what I was hoping for. That turned out not to be the case, but I just wanted to take that time and mull it over and kind of just get my thoughts and senses together about which way I was going to go about fixing the old girl. So I clipped the video of it happening. All right, here we go. All right, here we go. I didn't talk to John and Jessica that Sunday because I'm a big believer in, even though you own a business, you still have private time. So I didn't want to bother them on their Sunday. It can wait. You know, there's more important things than racing and cars, and especially just me. So I text John and Jessica on Monday at about 10 in the morning. I told them, hey, you know, this is what happened. You know, I sent them a little clip of the video, and then Jessica texted me back. She's like, hold on one second, John's gonna call you. Within like 5 minutes, John was on the phone, and he was like, hey, you know what happened? I basically told him everything that happened, and, you know, talked about over the clip. And he's like, you know, he asked me, have you been experiencing a lot of wheel hop? And I told him, you know, this thing's been leaving super soft. We're barely cutting one 560 foot. Sometimes we're not even cutting a 560 foot. The best 60 foot that we ever cut was a 149. So, you know, I was like, it's never wheel hop. We just have been leaving soft at the hole, you know. And he's like, you know what? You know, sometimes that just happens. And before I could even say anything about, hey, can you work me out some kind of deal, or can you do something for me, or you know, I don't know. I didn't know what was gonna be wrong with it. It could have cost me another 10 grand or however how much it costs whatever to fix. But before I could even say anything about, hey, can we do kind of some type of deal, John was like, listen, don't worry about anything. We're gonna pay to ship it here. We're gonna fix what's wrong with it for free. And he's like, we're gonna ship it back on our dime. He's like, I stand behind my work. He's like, that's one thing that, you know, he's like, this thing shouldn't have braked. Sometimes the stuff happens with racing, but he's like, I'm gonna stand behind my work 100%. And I will tell you right now, from working with Livermore Motorsports for over a year now, and they work with a lot of other transmission companies, not really anymore because of all the problems that they've had. Like, I'll try to go in there and show you this white Trackhawk. All right, took me a second to find it, and then I started talking with Brad, the engine builder here. But this Trackhawk right here, this is probably the baddest Trackhawk that Livermore Motorsports has built. Over 1,200 horsepower. It's got a Whipple. So we'll just show you this real quick. So, big old Whipple on there. I think that's a Gen 5 3.0. They're doing some more work to it. Bead locks, obviously. But to get to the point, this Trackhawk kit right here is on its third transmission. I will not say what company the first two are from. It is a pretty popular, highly regarded company. I'm not gonna say any names because I don't wanna bash. I'm just putting this out here so you guys can kind of get a little detailed and some knowledge from this, okay? So this Trackhawk, the first transmission, right? It was built by a company, it went out. That company did not warranty what parts broke. He sent it back to that company to get rebuilt, paid full price, paid for shipping, paid for everything, had it back out. It broke again the next time out. Again, he called him. He's like, no, this is ridiculous. I paid this much amount of money for this built transmission, and it's broken on me both times. They said, you know what? That just happens. We're not going to do anything. You're going to have to pay full price. So he ended up going with Sipple, and he hasn't had a problem since. And that's why I chose to go with Sipple. That's why I choose to work with Livermore Motorsports, is because I want to work with a company that stands behind their work, because stuff is going to go wrong. But when you got a 2,000 horsepower rated transmission and it leaves the chat making, you know, not even maybe a little bit, like close to 1,000 wheel, and you've only had it for maybe a month, maybe for 2 months, you know, you want that to be covered. I don't care what anybody says. And that's the thing about Sipple. They stand behind their work. John said that to me so many times. He's like, stuff is gonna go wrong, but we wanna make sure our customers are happy and they wanna see us out there running. So the transmission is back now. I'll show you to it in a second. The Trackhawk went down that Saturday. I brought it up to Livernois on Tuesday. That Tuesday it was here. They had it removed by Wednesday, and Sipple came and picked it up on Thursday. Mind you, that was a long weekend for Memorial Day, so it was a short week for them. It would have been back that week, but they had to wait one more week to ship it because John had something from the week before that he got tied up with, this charger that a customer dropped off. He was supposed to just do the transmission on it, but as he's getting further and further and into it, it was just like a can of worms. So it got to him, not on Memorial Day on Monday, but it got to him on Tuesday. And I didn't want to bother him, call him, you know, I don't think I'm that important of a person. You know, he'll get to it when he gets to it. But I'm like, you know, if he don't call me today on Tuesday, I'll call him on Wednesday. So I called him on Wednesday. He told me what was going on with the charger. He said, don't worry, tomorrow I'm gonna dig into it, see what happens. And he's like, I'll let you know tomorrow. So, you know, midday through on Thursday, he gave me a call, sent me some pictures. He's like, this is what happened, explained everything. He's like, it's already back together right now, and we're gonna ship it out today or tomorrow. It shipped out that Friday and shipped over the weekend, and here it is now Tuesday. And here's the transmission right here. Boom. Right back like it never left. All good to go, freshly rebuilt. I will include pictures of what happened to the transmission and what he sent me. It was basically the planetary that left the chat. I sheared a piece right off. You know, John said that's something that very rarely happens, but it can happen. But like I said, as soon as he says don't worry, he's gonna cover it, I'm not worried about it either. And like Dan told me, stuff happens in racing. But like, again, you want to make sure when you're modifying your car, you're working with a company that will stand behind their work. Just like on the old channel, when my crank snout broke off, Livernois rebuilt that whole motor. It was like a $25,000, $30,000 motor with labor and everything. They rebuilt everything free of charge, literally everything. Didn't cost me a dime. And they did it quick too. They don't want to see their customers not driving their cars. So the trans is back. We're just waiting for these guys to finish up. Like I said, I don't think I'm some type of important person where I can be like, oh, you know, stop what you're doing, put me first. No, like, they're gonna get to it, we're gonna get to it. Dad already said they're gonna jump on it as soon as their guys here are done on some other projects. But there's one other important thing that I wanna show you when it comes to doing something different with these transmissions for the Hellcats, Chargers and Challengers, Trackhawks, Durangos, and TRXs. So one thing that's not widely known about these Hellcat engines, what you're looking at right now is the transmission lines, and a lot of people don't know what these are. This is a built-in thermostat. Just like the thermostat that controls your coolant on your engine, this controls the fluid that goes to your transmission. And what this basically does is it doesn't let transmission fluid flow until you're at about 175 or 180. And then it lets the fluid flow. Obviously, I don't have to explain to you guys why that's not good for racing. When I was racing this thing at the track, the trans temp, I always kept an eye on that, and it was always above 200. And when I'd make like back-to-back runs, it would get up to like 110, or not 110, 210, or sometimes 212. Like I remember when I drive this thing home, it would be like 212 constantly. And now that's not like super high. I don't know if it ever got to 220, but I don't like it being that high. I mean, it might not be bad, but I don't like it being that high. I want it to be a lot cooler. So one thing that I found is this right here. So what this is, it is a thermostat bypass valve. This is what it looks like right here. It just fills into the spot right there like that, and it does basically what it says. It bypasses that thermostat so you can have cool trans temps. Now, I already told my buddy about this with the Hellcat, and he put it on and he seemed like drastically lower. Like, and he was driving in the winter, it was like 100 or 90. So it kept it real cool. I'm interested to see when he takes it to the track. We're gonna meet up soon. His Hellcat Charger is making it is making 940 to the wheels. He just had it dyno tuned. So me and him are gonna make for a track day and we're gonna race it. So the thing about these bypass valves is that there's a few companies that make them. And the company that I had my buddy go with this Hellcat, I called them and they actually told me it doesn't work with the Trackhawks. And they said they've never tested it, but they for sure know it doesn't work on the Trackhawk. I asked them if they could make one for it, and they said no. So I looked elsewhere on the website and I found this one from PPE. I'll try to put up the listing if I can find it. And then I found this other one, Mishimoto. So it's basically the same thing. Let me take out the package real quick. This one from Mishimoto is just a little bit thicker and wider than the other one. So you can see them right there. It's just a little bit bigger. So my worry with this one is that it's gonna hit the drive shaft. And that's another thing about this too, is you can install this with the transmission in, but you have to remove the front drive shaft, and that can be difficult to do. So I chose to take this time with the transmission being out to replace it. I still don't know if either of these are gonna work, because when I called the companies, they both said it should work, but they've never tried one on. And I even said to them, on your website it says that it works with a 6.2 Hellcat Jeep Trackhawk. It says that it works, and they're like, yeah, we know it should work, but we've just never tested it on one. And I kind of went back and forth with them, like, well, you probably shouldn't say that it works if you don't know. But we're gonna try both of these. I'm leaning towards this one. This one's a lot cheaper. I think this one was around 60 bucks. Like I said, I'll put up the listing. And I think this one was like 150. Honestly, I don't know if there's any real difference. I mean, they're just bypass valves, you know. I don't think there's much difference in quality. They're just bypassing that thermostat and letting the fluid free flow. But we'll see which one works and which one doesn't. Whichever one doesn't, whichever one, they might both work. But we're only gonna use one, so I might auction the other one off or sell it to somebody or do some kind of giveaway with it so you guys can have one. But you can do it with the transmission in, but it's a lot easier to do with the transmission out. So that's what's the update on the Trackhawk. Dan said he's gonna try to get the transmission in as soon as possible, and hopefully we have it back this week. Like I said, it is Tuesday. These guys are working on other projects, trying to finish everything up. So hopefully we can get it back by Friday, because we got big changes coming for the Trackhawk that should make it go a lot faster. I still need to do one more mod because there's another problem with these, but I'm gonna fix that myself at the house, and I'm gonna show you guys too. But everybody like and comment on this video. I appreciate it. I'm still a pretty small channel, but until next time, everybody take care and stay blessed.